All right, welcome class to our week 12 presentation. I really wanted to do a quick presentation this week to make sure everyone is on the same page for the Essay 4 assignment. I know that I haven't given you a ton of time to prepare, although I've mentioned it earlier, but the Essay 4 assignment is an annotated bibliography, and this is meant to help you get ready for your final research paper. So the final research paper, as we have been gearing up toward, is an academic argument paper for your idea for change. And the requirements, this is actually a school-wide essay that we're going to be doing for Essay 5, and the requirements include 8 sources. So the annotated bibliography allows you to move forward with your research to start preparing for that final paper. And I'm requiring 5 sources for the annotated bibliography. And basically what you are going to be doing is you are finding 5 sources. You are going to cite those sources with MLA citation, and you're going to basically take some notes. You're going to write 2 full paragraphs for each source. One of the paragraphs is going to be a summary of the source, and I think that this will be helpful to you as you move into writing your Essay 5 assignment, because it allows you to really have a clear understanding of the source and possibly even use some of that summary in your final paper. And it also will include a paragraph where you share how this source could help you in the future. So I just wanted to quickly go over the assignment description that you can find in Assignments and Quizzes. And so let's go ahead and take a look. It says, in order to get ready for your final research paper, you are tasked to create clear annotations for at least 5 of the 8 sources required for the final paper. As you may recall from the first essay assignment, you are tasked with coming up with a way in which you think our current culture should change. Our final paper will be a culmination of the course discussion of challenging the current culture. Students will research their topic and create a clear point of view concerning the changes they see necessary to challenge the current culture. Students will attempt to analyze the area in need for change and create a cohesive plan to implement that change. This can be an evolution of your idea for change. So, for instance, you might have started with the idea to create a library and a homeless shelter, but your final paper could be about combating literacy and poverty. For the final paper, at least 8 outside sources are required. Therefore, the annotated bibliography is meant to give you a head start in the research process. Keep in mind that the 5 sources you choose do not absolutely have to be found in the final draft of your last essay, but I hope that the research process will be beneficial enough for you that you can use these sources. So it says the annotation should include MLA works cited citation, appropriate in-text citations, a summary of the material you're going to use for the paper, and a description of how this source will be helpful in creating your final essay. Each of the 5 sources should include 2 paragraphs. Start with the works cited citation, then share the 2 paragraphs. In-text citation for that source should be found in the 2 paragraphs, especially with the summary, and you can then move on to the next source, and 5 in all. The assignment needs to have a title page, and it needs to be an MLA format. Your textbook should have some information about MLA format, as well as an example of an MLA title page on announcements, and there's other links as well in the classroom. Of course, it needs to be Times New Roman 12-point font. Margins should be 1 inch all the way around. The whole document should be double spaced, and you should turn this in as a .doc.docx or a .rft document, and it's worth 300 points. So one of the things I do suggest also is that one of your sources be a source that relates to a misconception or the opposition of your argument, because in your final paper you will need to address the opposition in some way. So that might be a helpful thing to do as you are researching. Now, with that in mind, I have here an example student paper for the Essay 4 assignment. You can see here that there is a clear title page, and then we move on to the next page in the document, which starts the citation. So here I have a clear MLA citation of a source, and then it's followed by 2 paragraphs. So we're just going to look at this first one, but we're not going to read all the rest of them. But hopefully this will help you. Now this is an actual student paper, so there may be errors, but for the most part they've done a good job. So here we have the citation up here, and the first paragraph states, this article in Who magazine gives many statistics on how pollution kills and badly harms humans and our environment. Who magazine states, quote, in particular, the new data reveals a stronger link between both indoor and outdoor air pollution exposure and cardiovascular diseases such as stroke and ischemic heart disease, as well as between air pollution and cancer. This is in addition to air pollution's role in the development of respiratory diseases, including acute respiratory infections and chronic obstructive pulmonary diseases. And you can see there's an in-text citation. This article then goes on to state how this happens from pollution and what areas of the United States are particularly known for having a very high pollution rates. So you can see that this paragraph is working to summarize the source. Now I will say that the student used a very long quote as a substantial part of the summary, and I do suggest that you try to reduce quotes as much as possible. If anything, paraphrase rather than quote. I'm not going to say you can't use quotations, but I would prefer to see paraphrases and summaries because it shows that you're able to do that. Now the second paragraph says, this will help my argument for the research paper by stating everything harmful that pollution causes and will hopefully make people want to quit polluting so much. The statistics and facts such as, quote, a total of 3.3 million deaths are linked to indoor air pollution and 2.6 million deaths related to our outdoor air pollution will direct attention to the problem of pollution. She shares in-text citation. I think that by using all of these facts, people will be more aware of the harmful effects of pollution has not only on the environment but also humans. Will be eye-opening. My goal with this article is to scare people to think pollution can give their body a deadly disease. Okay, so you can see that there is a clear summary. There is a clear paragraph that shares how the student is going to use the source in the final paper. And then we move on to the next source where we have a citation and 2 paragraphs. And this happens for every source. Citation, 2 paragraphs. We see in-text citation along with the summaries. So citation, 2 paragraphs. We do this for 5 sources. One of the things that this student does not do is alphabetize the sources within the annotations. I suggest doing that, but instead the student did include a works cited page, which is alphabetized. So here we have a way to alphabetize the sources so it's clear and using MLA citation. I do not require a works cited page for your paper, but if you wanted to present it in MLA format and you didn't alphabetize your sources in the annotations themselves, you can do that in a works cited page, and you can see that's set up correctly as well. So that is all I have for this week. If you do have any questions, feel free to send me an email. And I am more than happy to help you with this paper, but I wanted to make sure that everyone was aware of what was needed. So thank you so much, and we'll see you in the discussion board. Bye.